man's world shatters when he learns of his wife's infidelity with his friend. Enraged and hurt, he plots a revenge that tests the boundaries of vengeance. Discover what unfolds next in our recap of the movie The Paramedic 2020.
The legend of the film is Heavenly Messenger, who fills in as an emergency vehicle man. His work was at the site of a car crash, shipping the harmed and ransacking them. When he gets back, he is dubious of his significant other Vane, who let him know she is leaving, so he watches her. Then he puts what he took someplace in the pantry in the rescue vehicle. His collaborator is conversing with him while he is watching a fruitfulness video and not focusing on him. Call comes to them, letting them know that there is an elderly person who was oblivious when they went to her. They found her dead. Heavenly Messenger takes once more and afterward proceeds to sell the watch, yet keeps the ring with him. He tells the individual he needs to offer to that these things are his grandma's at home. Vane gets a call, and Heavenly Messenger requests that she answer. She lets him know that he ought to go to a specialist to assist them with imagining. He guarantees her that he will go. Not long after that, we see a man with a canine. This canine continued to bark, which upset Heavenly Messenger while he was resting. The following day, he went to the specialist's office. The specialist lets him know the stunning news that he has a low sperm count and that he and his better half should go through planned impregnation at home. He converses with Vane and recommends they travel together. However, she lets him know that she is in the test period and she should review. While Vane is in the room, an instant message comes to her. Heavenly Messenger opens her telephone and sees a message from her schoolmate at work. They transport a harmed individual who is oblivious, and in the emergency vehicle, the harmed man comes to seizures. The driver attempts to see what's going on and attempts to leave someplace. However, a quickly moving vehicle hits them. They had a savage mishap. After the mishap, we see Vane supporting her better half as the mishap impacted Heavenly Messenger and he could stroll with the assistance of a wheelchair. Then she brings him medication. Then a call from her schoolmate comes to her. She lets him know that he assists her with composing. Concentrate on notes in her non-appearance. He was irritated about their relationship. The following day, he watches a video of an individual making sense about the programmer application, and that through this application he can screen any telephone. Then he goes to have an exercise-based recuperation meeting with Dr. Sandra. The driver who was with him in the vehicle at the hour of the mishap comes to their home. He had a few scars on his face and he was attempting to apologize to Heavenly Messenger. However, he resented him and he blamed him for being the justification behind this. Then, at that point, removed him from his home one night. Vane was going to go out and he requested that she present to him a frozen yogurt. He exploited her leaving the room and introduced the programmer application on her telephone. Then she brings him frozen yogurt and leaves. After that, he opens his PC and can decide her ongoing area. Additionally, that evening, Heavenly Messenger endured from the sound of canines yelping the following day. While he was out, he met the proprietor of the canine and grumbled to him about his voice. The man lets him know that the canine is yapping in light of the fact that he is letting him be on the grounds that he had gone to visit his significant other in the medical clinic. Holy Messenger keeps on going to physiotherapy meetings. He lets Vane know that the specialist is letting him know he's improving and that he could possibly walk once more. Yet Vane was uninterested in what he said, so he was amazed. She lets him know that she was offered a temporary job at a vet facility. He requests that her house save time for that. She lets him know that she will leave her place of employment and work a portion of a day as a client assistance representative. He flies off the handle about it and feels vulnerable. After that, he was observing every one of her contacts with clients around evening time. He was in agony and he was searching for the pain reliever medication box, yet he didn't track down it. So he calls Vane to let him know where the medication is. Nevertheless, he found her telephone switched off. After that, he goes to the kitchen and finds the medication. Then he conceals the medication under the bed. When she came, he asked her for what good reason she left him without consideration and where his medication was. She let him know that the medication was in the kitchen. However, he tells her that the medication isn't there. To be sure, she didn't find the medication box. The following day, he places a pin in a piece of meat and proceeds to call the canine in a soft tone. So the proprietor of the canine does not hear him. He causes the canine to eat the meat to kick the bucket while keeping an eye on Vane's calls. He hears her calling with her companion. Her companion tells her that she ought to leave him. Vane tells her that he has turned into a weight to her, and her companion urges her to leave him since he abuses her. When Vane gets back, she finds that he has arranged the food she cherishes. He requests that she wear the dress he purchased for her. She was at that point wearing the dress, and she was lovely while eating. He says thanks to her for how she helped him during the previous days, and he guarantees her that he will get better in the approaching period. He urges her to acknowledge the preparation at the vet facility, and furthermore tells her that he has booked a meeting with a specialist for IVF. Then Heavenly Messenger cleans up. Vane gets an instant message on her telephone. She feels a reverberation of the instant message notice. She goes after the PC and finds that everything related to her telephone shows up on the PC. She goes to gather her things. When Heavenly Messenger emerges from the restroom, he finds that she has left. He finds that she has found that he is keeping an eye on her. Following a while have passed, he goes to treatment meetings. The specialist asks him for what reason he didn't come. However, he didn't reply. After that, he goes to his home and finds the proprietor of the canine before the lift, where he let him know that his significant other and the canine had kicked the bucket after that. He observes New Year's Day alone. Then a shrewd idea happened to him. He goes in a taxi and monitors Vane. He figures out that she is dating his colleague, the driver. He keeps on watching them until they arrive at a child bed store, and he finds that she is pregnant. He goes to the drugstore and takes something. The following day, he goes to Vane. She attempts to drive him away, yet he advises her that he needs to bid farewell since she won't ever see him from now on. She is impacted by this and lets him know that she will go with him to his home. When they show up at his home, she lets him know that she needs to return. However, he tells her that he has arranged a case containing her possessions and her visa. She goes into the house with him. He tells her that he will make tea for her. Yet, she denied and requested that he carry her things to go. He shocks her with an inquiry. Did you love somebody? She gets confounded and asks him where her things are. He lets him know that her things are in the room. Close to the bed, she goes into the room and he takes a stylish infusion and follows her. He infuses her and she swoons when she recaptures cognizance. She finds that she is restricted with ropes. He plays a heartfelt melody. I can always remember you. Then he shuts the entryway and takes her telephone. He hears voice messages with her sweetheart. Then he goes to a lake and composes an instant message to him. I'm sorry, Ricardo. I can't have this child. Then he tosses the telephone in the lake and returns home. He allows her an opportunity to talk and tells her that he met Ricardo and learned through him that she is pregnant. She attempts to shout. However, he stops her and infuses her with a sedative while he was sleeping with her. His neighbor thumped on the entryway. His neighbor lets him know that there was a noisy music the previous evening. He lets him know that he persevered through his canine's irritating voice for a few days and expressed nothing after that. His neighbor gets some information about Vane, yet he lets him know that he has not seen her in a while. He let him know that he heard a shouting sound from inside the loft, yet he let him know that perhaps the sound was coming from another condo. However, he let him know that he had seen them some time back and they entered together. He let him know she took her things and left. The neighbor demands that the shouting sound came from inside Heavenly Messenger's loft. He let him know that he had a young lady with him, and he was humiliated to let him know. Many that he goes to finish his treatment meetings. Next, we watch Ricardo sitting tight. For Holy Messenger, he gets some information about Vane. Then he admits to him about his relationship with her. However, Holy Messenger lets him know that he is clueless about her. Then he pardons himself to leave. He strolls into his loft and when awakens Vane when she stirred, she felt that her body was incapacitated. She gets some information about how he treated her. He tells her not to stress, since this is because of sedation. She attempts to move yet neglects to do so. And afterward he plays heartfelt music. He was getting a charge out of watching her experience. After that, he finds that Ricardo has sent him voice messages requesting that he answer him. He compromises him that he will call the police on the off chance that he doesn't respond to him while having supper. He advises her that he needs to name the kid Heavenly Messenger, and that assuming that the child is a young lady, he will permit her to name her. She exploits it and hits him with a glass on the head. She attempts to escape the room and shout, yet he finds her and infuses her. His neighbor thumps on the entryway and lets him know that he will call the police since he ensured that Vane was the one shouting. He gets some information about the reason for the injury in his mind, so Holy Messenger requests that he come in to see what's going on for himself. He finds Vane on the ground and tells her that he will call the police. However, Heavenly Messenger cuts him. Vane was stunned by everything she saw then. Heavenly Messenger considers somebody and says to him that he really wants his assistance when the individual shows up. He gives him cash and gold in return for cleaning the spot. To be sure, he is completing the man of the structure. Sooner or later, the police come to Heavenly Messenger to ask him a few inquiries. They get some information about his relationship with Vane. He lets them know that she was his significant other and that they used to live respectively. Then they told him if he knew Ricardo, He let them know it was a collaborator of his, where it worked out, that Ricardo was the person who informed the police since he was dubious of the instant message that contacted him from Vane. They asked him when he last saw her, and he lets them know it was 7 days.
And that's a wrap. How did you enjoy the recap? Kindly let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe for more recaps like this one. Thanks for watching. We will see you on the next one.